We are talking about entrepreneurship today. What I'd like to do is help you just think about maybe this is something I'm interested in, maybe not. In all likelihood, a lot of you probably don't even know yet that whether or not it's something you want to pursue. But Dave, I'll throw it over to you. Did you always know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur, or is it something that you uncovered later?
It's funny that I would ultimately say no, I did not know.
Okay, so I recently heard about Switzerland making feminine hygiene products free. So if someone doesn't have them or they can't afford them, then making them accessible. So I think that may be something I'm interested in.
Would it be for everyone, or would it just be on a needs basis, like those that are lower income, or do you want it to be universal?
I would want it to be universal. I know it's possible because Switzerland was able to do it, so maybe in the future, but I would start with lower income and kind of build up from there.
Very cool. So in your case, Julie, what you're doing sounds like it would be a nonprofit or a charity endeavor. One of the things that comes to mind is, as you know, if they're free, they're not really free. Somebody has to pay for them, right?
I was not just told on what I need to improve, but taught how to improve what I needed to improve.
I definitely learned much more about how to meet people, put myself out there, be more confident. So my favorite part of the year was just meeting all the mentors every week and being able to listen to what they had to say, all their insights, all their experiences, and seeing how you don't necessarily have to know exactly where you're going to go.
Would you mind telling us a little bit more about the 20-day treks through the Himalayan mountains and how it has had such a great impact on your life?
I took 3 months off of work, traveled around Southeast Asia on my own, and then landed in Nepal for the last leg of my journey.
The mentors are highly motivated. They're all very passionate about what they do, and they find a lot of joy and significance.
Camp that I worked with kids with different chronic illnesses. So if they were using a wheelchair, then we'd look at, all right, how are we adapting all the activities so that they can fully participate in everything.
I was a camp counselor a few years ago at circus camp, but I also worked with some kids that had physical limitations. But I've found it really hard seeing a kid that can't do all the things that they want to do. So how do you deal with that kind of emotion?
That's such a relevant piece on a daily basis. In order to be able to give yourself, you have to look after yourself first. I'd encourage you, if that's a field that you want to go into and working with people where you give so much of your heart into your work, find those self-care things. With your artistic abilities, maybe art plays some sort of form into the self-care process.
Definitely. Thank you. That's really helpful.
Throughout their speech or conversation, I would just be that's so me.
The biggest impression that the mentors left was that nothing comes easy. You always have to work for it, but when you work for it, you get the greatest rewards.
If you could give yourself advice back in high school, what would you tell yourself?
First thing is just don't be afraid to fail. Take calculated risks, go try experiences. I've mentioned I've had 21 different jobs. Each one of those I've learned and can take something away from that helped me in the next one, even though at the time I may not have been able to see it. Your trajectory towards your career path isn't always going to be linear. Mine was more like a Plinko board.
Well, being able to relate to successful people lets you sort of see what that can be, and then you can reflect on what might that be for me.
So I was just kind of wondering, after getting diagnosed, what difference that made in your life?
Night and day. I know that I rarely make the same mistake twice. That's how my mind works. So I literally will try to make as many calculated mistakes as I can because I know that that's going to get me further. But the fear of stepping outside of my comfort zone and taking that risk before would paralyze me. And now that I have a better understanding of how my mind cycles and how it works, I intentionally chunk my business up so that I do different things.
Just when I'm interacting with people, the listening skills. Before I was more focused on telling them what I thought and sharing my opinions, but now I've learned the value of really trying to learn from the people I'm talking to.
So, what's on your mind?
Kind of like you, I have a lot going on. I still have my job and everything, but it's just the hours that I'm getting and when's the most convenient is what I need to figure out.
What about your hours is the issue there?
At the moment, our store has been getting hours cut back, and I have been not getting my Saturday shift as often, so it'd be 12 hours instead of 20 hours. So it's kind of more disappointing than anything.
Right. Is there any, other solutions kind of to missing those hours that you maybe have thought of? Mm-hmm.
So I've talked to one of my other managers. Mm-hmm. Nothing has happened since then, so probably just forgot about it. So reaching out to them would probably be the best bet.
Yeah, just vouch for yourself and make sure that they're hearing you. Have you considered maybe a second job, applying somewhere else for more hours?
I've definitely thought of that. Also just thinking of just a new job in general. Like just today with one of the panelists, he said that he had 21 jobs, and I'm just thinking here, I have one part-time job and one only that I've been at, so I want to try something new, if that makes sense. So
yeah, what kind of hobbies maybe do you think you could get a job in?
Well, I do like working with my hands.
Okay.
I do kind of in a fast-paced environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I've talked with my mom a bit about it.
The afternoon discussions were where I learned the most about reflecting and learning about the workshops that we were doing and the skills that we were learning and how to apply them. And we really worked through, in conversation, examples of our own lives.
I liked how you didn't just wallow in the misery of low hours, how you kind of brought up a few things doing this and this to help supplement that. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, similarly, I loved how you went down the problem-solving route. Not only did you give some positive options, but you also invited him to think. Just thinking of the way we phrase our questions and the effect that they might have.
You're able to know everybody a lot more. You know more than just their friend circle, you know about their personal life, you know what they've struggled with and what they need help with, and you guys work together.
So Discovery Year gives you a base of how to approach finding your interest and finding your passion and searching for a career that will be significant to you. So it gives you some structure and some time to think about that, and I think it sets you up for the rest of your life.